are listening to the Hot Sports Boys.
Hot Sports Boys.
My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Yazan, as always.
And we are here to talk about the sports topics that affect your world, no matter what sport you like.
Not enough whispering.
Not enough whispering at all. This episode is brought to you by like 40 people on the Patreon. Thank you very much.
Boom.
That provided a Gatorade for Yaz, and Dylan brought his own water from home. So thank you for listening, Patreon subscribers. Now,
is it Patreon?
I thought it was Patreon.
Patriots?
Yeah. No, not the Patriots.
I feel like
don't confuse people.
I feel like it's a play on
Patreons.
Yeah, patrons.
Yeah, I think it is, but you're going to have to talk to Steve Patreon about that. We are not changing formats.
Chief Executive
this week.
Officer
Chief CEO
of Patreon, Steve Patreon.
We are not changing formats this week, even though it worked well for us last time.
2 weeks from now.
2
New
weeks
format,
from,
probably.
Yeah, but we have a new subject to cover, and we're going to cover all the bases, even sports that don't have bases.
Mostly sports that don't have bases.
So we have fired up the HSB's worksheet, and today we are doing the subject of
expansion
and relocation.
Doesn't sound like it's that exciting to you and me, folks, but guess what? It is. There's meat in here, meat that's good for the eating.
And
unless you're a vegetarian, and then it's like a grain-based meat.
Takes that are hot for the heating.
So hot that we are the Hot Sports Boys.
That is true.
You are listening to the Hot Sports Boys.
That's been established. All right. So, the NFL, being the king that it is going to be one and done here.
King NFL.
Once one and done, once all the teams move to Los Angeles.
All teams, the only time you're allowed to move your team is if you're moving to Los Angeles in the NFL. It didn't used to be that way. At some point, you were allowed to move your team out of a well-established city seemingly overnight. But that doesn't happen these days. They just move to
That's never
LA.
happened here.
That's true.
I don't want to talk about it. But anyway.
No back-channel negotiating going on these days.
Yeah. So the only thing that has less activity than the NFL is college football.
Well, hold on. I think we've got some things to talk about here.
Yeah. Don't get ahead of yourself, Dave.
Fine.
Yeah, we're covering the whole topic.
As I understand, one of the caveats
I thought you guys wanted to just brush right past it.
Typically, that would be the case. Not tonight. However.
What I was going to say is one of the caveats, as I understand, to moving your team to Los Angeles in the NFL is you have to get the logo right by the third time. Is that true?
Yeah, third try.
Yeah, you only have three tries to get your logo right.
Yep. That was my favorite thing in the world, is when the social media departments of other, like the Tampa Bay Lightning.
They had a year to work on this new logo. They had a whole year to do it. Because they basically announced the move a year ago. So what were they doing? What was the branding department doing for the Chargers?
Well, they worked for about a day, and then they took the rest of the year off.
Then they went to a bunch of Lightning matches.
Yeah.
And got inspired there.
Tampa
and how
Bay.
Desperate of them having to play
they got
soccer
inspired.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, so, yeah, but let's talk about the other happenings, the potential international soirees.
Yeah, what's that about?
So we've got our annual, a couple of times a year now, London games, of which the Cleveland Browns will be participating this year.
Yes, going to be an early Sunday.
Yes.
Gonna get the lads out early.
That's enough of that already. It's way too early in the podcast to get to that.
Now, every one of those is played at Wembley, right?
That is a good question. I think
I thought they played.
I'll fact check it. You guys keep going.
I thought they played at White Hart Lane. No, they're going to be playing at Tottenham's new stadium, I think. But maybe they've been playing at Wembley. I don't know.
So, yeah, the other international series game is played in Mexico City. Last year, it was the Texans and who was it? You looked this up earlier, Dylan.
Texans and Raiders, because of the incredibly large Raider fan base that exists in Mexico City. Not sure if you were aware of that.
If you have season tickets to a team that's the home team in one of those games, how's that work? Do you lose out on a game, or do you get like, oh, my ticket's free if I can get to London or Mexico City? How's that work?
That is a good question. One that I don't know the answer to.
If any of our listeners are season ticket holders to the Jacksonville Jaguars and played...
Actually, I'm gonna do you one better on this, because I like where you're going with this crowdsourcing the information, Yaz.
Yes.
I'm going to say, yes, you do get a free ticket.
Ah, there you go.
And if we're wrong,
prove us wrong.
At us. Tweet at us,
Friday
at Friday Fumble. Put us in our place.
Yes.
If we're wrong. Or if we're right, give us an online high five. I'd love to see a Minion gif.
So do you guys...
Minion gifs are the best.
Do we think the NFL is going to expand to one of these cities, or either of these cities, or both?
There's
of
been
these
talk
cities?
of both. But who do you add teams? Because at this point, you've got the perfect number of divisions.
32 is a good number, a number we're going to talk more about later.
What would you?
But right now, who gets the shaft?
I mean, it should be Jacksonville.
Well, if 20 years ago we played in a division with 6 teams.
Yes, we did.
And that every other division had 4 or 5. So this is not unprecedented for it to be ridiculous.
Yeah, but at this point, would they have all of them? It's weird how you have the rules of the game as they are now, and it seems perfect, and it seems like it's the absolute right number. But then years ago, it was like, oh yeah, this team had to play these teams twice, and just the rules were kind of different for every team for some reason. But
so just an update on stadiums played in London. The first one was at Twickenham, which is the rugby stadium.
That's right. I remember that.
So they're not going outside of London, however, which is a shame.
It is a shame.
I feel like there are some good venues.
I'll be honest
in the
with you.
Northern
you could
part
put a
of
football team in Manchester and call it like Manchester United Football Club or something.
No. Manchester's such a famous city, you'd call it Manchester City.
Oh, yeah, right. That's a better idea.
I don't think they'd be allowed on the pitch at Villa Park because it's always voted the nicest pitch in England, and they'd be like, no, you can't have a game here.
Well, Columbus Crew Stadium is voted
the
nicest stadium in the U.S., and they have a
Are you having a laugh?
Or they have a rock concert there.
I'm sorry. Do I know
you think you're going to play a football game? Your Yank football on this pitch?
What is that ball?
You having a laugh?
That's not a proper football.
Get out of here, mate.
What are you thinking? I'd thank you to leave.
Wow, can you guys believe we got David Beckham on the podcast tonight?
All right, moving on from the we just do an English accent for a while.
Now, would
you go to Mexico City to see a football game if the Browns were playing?
No.
Or in your case, yes.
Yes.
If, like, a soccer team was playing there.
I feel like I would
go
go for a U.S. men's team before a Browns game.
Well, you got to have the security that comes with being a U.S. men's supporter.
Right.
If you go to a U.S. game in Mexico City, you're going to get liquids dumped on your head that are always no one knows if it's beer or piss, and they hope for the beer. Yeah. So I don't know. Does that happen in an American football game when you're down there? It depends on if there's Mexican fans of one team.
I feel like yes. I feel like yes.
I feel like
translate well.
I'm gonna say that they use the same ushers for either one, so they're either like letting that go or they're not.
Right.
It's not like they're gonna they're bringing the Oakland ushers down and they go wait, no, you can't do that. And sorry, I guess we won't. I think it's the same look the other way style ushers.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. I think if I haven't made it down there yet for a U.S. men's game, I'm probably not going to make it for an NFL.
You know what?
game.
I think I'll go like to a San Antonio Browns backers bar is the farthest south I'm going to go to watch a Browns game.
Oh, man. But do I think that they're likely to get the expansion? Yes. More than London? Probably.
Well, it's very interesting that, airplane travel what it is these days. A flight from Boston to California is not that much different from a flight from Boston to London. But It's that California to London one. You'd really need to line up the bye weeks. Yep. So, that'd be tough.
Well, not only that, but maybe even having to force a change in the schedule. Second bye week. Even.
Yeah.
I just think it messes everything up. Do you call if there's a team in either of those countries, they can't be in the American League, so they go in the National League,
Football Conference,
the American Football Conference,
the AFC.
Yeah, I know the difference between baseball and the NFL.
NFC,
which is near field communication, and that's how you could tap your phone and send data.
Oh my god! All the terminology has to be changed.
Yeah, that's very true. But they handle it in baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays play in the American League, which is weird.
That is true.
Really?
But technically they are part of an America.
That's true too.
So,
but London is not. So that I think
most definitely.
I think the finger
ever since 1776. I believe.
We told them, gave them the old heave ho.
Assuredly,
that means that it has to point to Mexico City because they are
in an America.
They can't be in the NFC,
right?
Because they're not in our nation, but they are in America. So
that's true.
There you go. Solved.
So we've decided.
Welcome to the and you know what?
Hope you're listening, Roger.
England could be part of the NFC because they have national healthcare system.
The NHS. You're going to have them have their own division, and they're always the division champs because they're their own NHS division.
Yeah. Why not?
All right, fine. Let's do it.
They got to fly so far.
Yeah, that's true.
What happens if you get a Super Bowl between London and Mexico City?
Oh, that'd be rough.
How mad are Americans going to be about that?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty rough.
That's rough. Well,
we won't be represented.
Cross that bridge.
Yeah.
Cross that bridge.
All right.
Maybe we can add a third team to that game at that point if we see that coming.
Yeah,
three teams play.
A try match. So,
moving on.
College football, if you think about expansion, they haven't added a new college since like 1848 or something. Like, who knows when the last college was like, no, we're a college now.
What about DeVry? They're newer than other schools,
Yeah,
right?
but their football team is not Division I. They all have to work. They can only go to practice in the evenings.
The UT San Antonio Roadrunners started a football program about 10 years ago.
What division they make it up to?
That sending me
Boy,
back to
sending
the
you back to the research project. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're not going to linger too long on college football. We talked about maybe talking about expanding the playoff, but there are a bunch of people who are way more annoying than us who have way hotter takes on that than us. So we're going to leave that one be. We're going to head over to the old round ball, the NBA.
Baseball.
No, they call round ball is the round ball rock from
tennis
inside. Okay, this isn't a bit. I'm legitimately getting mad at Yaz right now for that. So
they're Division I, by the way.
Wow. Okay, so my whole fact there was wrong. And if you're mad about me being wrong, add us.
Tweet us
at Friday Fumble. Put me in my place.
And also, a hot take on that real quick.
It's getting hot in here.
We need at least 8 teams in the college football playoff.
I agree. You do.
At
four
least.
Is silly.
That's a silly. Yeah, no, that's a silly playoff.
Let it shake itself out.
You're gonna make the money.
Yeah,
you're
having the game. You're having the bowl games, and with this recent trend, which I agree with, of big players skipping useless bowl games, make more bowl games that mean something.
Exactly.
And one of the 8 teams has to be from the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah, you got to get a MAC team in there.
Yeah, go by conference if you need to. Okay.
All right, NBA. What was it? The last new team in the NBA.
Seattle. Real quick, Seattle SuperSonic fans, just skip ahead.
Just fast forward a little bit.
Use your 15-second skip multiple times though.
Yeah, this whole thing is weird because the NBA, and I'm not going to bother to look this up. I don't feel like it, but they added the Charlotte Hornets. They added the Vancouver Grizzlies, the Toronto Raptors, and another teal team, but I don't remember what it was. And then they moved all those expansion teams around. So Charlotte went to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Then Charlotte got another team.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver moved to Memphis and then said, we want out of the basketball business. And then all of these non-established teams moved around a little bit. Everything was fine until hurricane hits New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a place to have a team. Oklahoma City says, hey, we love basketball here in Oklahoma City. If you're tired of saying Oklahoma City, let us do you a favor. You can abbreviate that to OKC.
OKC.
Okay, Cupid.
And so the NBA goes,
okay,
hey, these middle American people there in Oklahoma City, otherwise known as OKC,
seem to like the round
they
ball.
love the round ball. They love the bounce passes. They love the chest passes. They like the slam dunks.
They do.
So they said, how can we get these guys a team? And then what they decided to do, for some reason, is steal a very well-established NBA team in the Seattle Supersonics.
Disrupting one of the all-time greatest rivalries, Seattle Supersonics and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Also taking a young Kevin Durant from Seattle and moving him to OKC.
Which we see how that played out.
You know what they ought to call him now?
What's that?
Mediocre.
Oh,
because they're always right around there, but
With
they
an
never
MVP candidate.
push it over the top. So yeah,
the perennial MVP candidate.
I love
with more triple doubles than you'll ever see in your entire life.
He's
this
the
season.
best. He's the best around, but he's not the best player because LeBron is. But the thing that's what I found cool about that, had they done it a different way, is OKC auditioned, blew the audition out of the water.
Yeah,
they should have been given a new team.
Right.
Or stolen, like, Milwaukee or something. No one cares about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Except for those in Milwaukee, probably. But
still.
In Delhi. Those in
They
Australia.
got the Packers.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
yeah, that is true. So
The Milwaukee
what markets?
Packers.
How many
what
teams
markets
do we
are
have
we
in the
looking
NBA
at?
now?
What markets are we looking at? 32.
32, so
That
they don't
seems
want
to be the
33
going
is
rate.
the thing.
That seems
32.
to be the going rate. Well, see, here's the thing. It's far less complicated in the NBA because they have two conferences.
Yep.
And 8 teams get in from each conference.
Yeah, you could
That's
add
it.
a team to each conference and you'd
You
be
do
fine.
whatever the hell
You got the
want.
American League and the National League.
Exactly.
Right.
The East and the West.
Oh.
It's even easier.
You know, I don't
It's
even. It's but
easier.
Dylan, you know, it's not, because if you look at a map, the Chicago Bulls Eastern Conference farther west than the New Orleans Pelicans in the Western Conference.
That you're getting into semantics about population densities at this point, and geographical locations of cities in the United States, the greater metropolitan areas of New England. You're going to pack a lot more
One
teams.
is farther.
Are you trying to say the
west.
words East and West don't matter anymore, Dylan?
You're going to pack a lot more teams on the eastern seaboard than you are on the West Coast in the western states.
seaboard.
So therefore, you gotta do a little finagling there on the center line, which is not the center line. It's basically the Mississippi, is what we've all agreed upon. So, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Change. I'd say that the Chicago Bulls need to move to like Gary, Indiana. Just move them a little bit further east.
Or the New Orleans Pelicans can move to like Seattle. Is that what?
Maybe that would be something.
There you go. There you go.
Is that what we're setting up for?
There you go.
Who's
I
moving to
highly
Seattle?
doubt it.
Well,
Like,
Who are we plucking to send to Seattle?
Well, I do think that Seattle deserves a team back. But who else gets one? Who on the East Coast?
See, the thing is, we're not going to know who to send because we're going to forget the forgetful teams unless we look at the list.
Yeah.
No,
well,
I've been
I don't
forgetting
think we
the
should
Utah
send
Jazz.
anybody. Get more teams.
That's true.
Put more teams in the mix.
I
We got
forget-
82 games.
I haven't forgotten the Timberwolves, if that's what you're implying.
I
I
mean,
haven't
I
forgetting
really-
unknown teams like the Warriors.
I think the Utah Jazz should be the ones that move.
Dude, at least change the name.
Yeah, make them the Lakes.
There's not Jazz in Utah, I'm sure.
None. probably against
they
the
don't
rules.
Play jazz.
But you can't deny that franchise's uncanny ability to stuff a quarter note or a saxophone into their logo. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool,
Yeah.
but it's not when it's from Utah. Okay.
I'm sorry, it's an eighth note.
Here's a pop quiz.
Yep.
All right. You've got to start a new team in Seattle. Supersonics is trademarked. What do you pick instead as the Seattle basketball team?
Sonics.
Super Sounders.
But
you don't put the super. You take the
super-
super out.
The Super Duper Sonics.
The Super Duper Sonics. The
Well,
Seattle Super Duper Sonics.
As resident airplane nerd, the Boeing, whom the Supersonics were named after, Boeing is in Seattle. The Boeing supersonic jetliner never, ever flew. So I think you should just call them the Seattle Subsonics.
That's too smart.
And it
That's
doesn't
too deep of a
it
joke.
doesn't
the
inspire
Seattle
confidence in
all
you.
How about-
composite framed lightweight jetliners.
How about the Seattle Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations?
The Seattle
How about
the Seattle
Jazz?
Excels.
The Seattle Jazz.
That's good.
What do you think about the Excels?
Yeah,
the PowerPoints?
No, the Excels, but spelled as the program.
All right.
XLS
Yeah.
dot XLSs. The Seattle.XLSs.
And if you want to buy season tickets, they're the Seattle.XLSX because you have the latest version.
Oh, shoot.
That's way too nerdy.
Oh,
I
shoot.
apologize to everybody, but every one of you who uses spreadsheets just giggled. So there you go.
Or, just go and sell completely 100% out and just be the Seattle Xboxes.
Or the Starbuckers.
Or the Starbuckers or Seattle's best.
Fish throwers.
The fish market.
The
Yes.
Seattle fish throwers because they throw
They
the
do
fish,
throw the
everybody.
fish there.
Have you...
The Seattle
Look.
Space Needles.
Hey, let me get a fish. Well, let me tell you how we deliver the fish here. Here's my hot take on Seattle. That fish thing is dumb. Disagree with me? At us. At Friday Fumble. Tell me I'm wrong.
The Seattle Russell Wilson. The Seattle Macklemores. Or what's the other guy's name?
The Seattle Macklemores featuring Ryan Lewis.
Featuring Ryan Lewis.
Well, that's a great place to end on the round ball. Yeah, you're totally right, though. Just add a team in each conference. Top 8 still gets in. Fine.
Yeah, it
Done.
doesn't matter. You have 82 games to schedule around. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Next up, similar situation to college football.
Not only that, but hold on a second.
Whoa. On hold.
So I think one thing that we haven't really acknowledged yet is that the development league, the D-League,
Yes.
for the NBA,
Soon to be named the G League,
oh,
sponsored by Gatorade.
Ah.
That is not a joke. That is
wow,
actually happening.
that's branding.
Are they going to change all the team names to Gatorade flavors? We already have Canton
they should.
Charge. Isn't that a Gatorade flavor?
I think so.
What's
Arctic
the clear?
Charge,
What's
maybe?
what's the one you're drinking?
I'm currently drinking a Ice Punch, which would be a good team like the
That would be-
Minnesota
yeah,
Ice
the
Punch,
Minnesota Ice Punch would be
the
perfect.
Kenosha Ice Punch, or something like that. The Fargo Ice Punch.
I'm fine with the Chicago Rainberries.
Here's my question, though. In terms of player surplus, I'm sure. Look, there's only 32 teams. It's a very small community.
Yeah.
What does that do to the D League, though, if you expand?
If you do it by 2, yeah, you might be thinning out your talent pool because
I know the D League is something that they've been trying to work on and make an actual thing. Also, what does that do to the international game? Because now you don't have as many players looking for work.
Well, I think
across the pond.
I think the NBA can bring back some of its own by doing that.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we could still be watching Stephon Marbury right now.
Yeah, man.
And Anthony Bennett.
If only, right?
He's in Turkey. That's a great question. Is there the talent enough to add those teams?
I mean, I think there is. There is the talent enough. You're crippling other basketballing.
Well,
programs.
one of which you care about, the D-League. You do care about that. You
Right.
don't care about the international. They can go F themselves. That's another question for the NFL.
Right.
There are only so many quarterbacks all of the existing teams can't find good quarterbacks. So you add a few more teams that need good quarterbacks, and you make it even worse.
I don't think you're really changing the talent on the team that plays, because in theory, the guys that are at the bottom of your rosters now, they're good enough to be on the team, sort of, and then they start playing, and there's a new bottom of the roster.
Well, but the example here in Cleveland,
now.
and I guess we're at the kind of top of the food chain at the moment here in Cleveland, but we had Jordan McRae, who got cut today because they're signing Andrew Bogut. We had Kay Felder, who's currently playing in Canton, who they drafted this year, who would have a spot on a lot of NBA teams, but he's with the Charge. We had Quinn Cook of the Canton Charge get signed to the active roster of the Dallas Mavs. So,
Cavs for Mavs.
Yep. So there is a lot of that going on now that, and again, maybe it's just because we have a MacGyver of a GM who can pull players seemingly out of his ass to put on the team, but...
Yeah, can we just take a moment right now
let's all take a moment.
David Griffin?
Hip, hip, hooray.
Hooray.
Okay, we've done it. All right. So that's a big question, is talent.
Really
is there
big
enough
question.
Talent to...
I think it's there for the NBA. I think you don't want to mess up what you got. The momentum that you have with the D-League.
Well, it's there for the NBA because the roster's 15 guys.
Right.
NFL... with a 52-man roster,
right?
Yeah, and coaches and all of that junk. That gets harder to add 2 teams to.
Yeah, true. Plus, we've seen that some markets will not support an NFL franchise.
Well, some will, some won't, and if they don't, give them 2. Like Los Angeles.
Right, exactly.
Or more.
That also begs the question, what does support equal? And I think maybe this is another topic for a different day, but is support that we won't tax fund your effing stadium? Is that what that means?
That's a different topic for a different day, but that, unfortunately, San Diego stood up and said, we're not going to tax fund your stadium.
Yeah.
And then they left to go to a city that probably won't either, but I don't know.
I think they already have, and it's already in the works, I feel like.
Here's and I'm not going to get too into this because this gets really political, but all this money for naming rights and stuff like that shouldn't be the icing on the cake.
Right.
That should be the thing that gets it made.
Right.
So First Energy Stadium shouldn't be a giant chunk of money that goes in the guy's pocket.
Right.
It should be, hey, First Energy, do you want to
put your name on this
building?
You want to
put your name on this building?
Build?
Hey, Cleveland Cliffs, do you want to buy a brick?
Yeah.
In the front?
Right.
We'll put your name on it?
Right.
That's how it should be getting done. There's plenty of money there.
And if you want the city and the county to pay for it, then maybe Green Bay has a very good idea on how to run that as a business and an enterprise.
Right. Again, this is a topic that
this will be
are
a different
not
one.
Smart enough.
Stick to sports, guys. Stick to sports.
This will be
that is a great point. We will
okay,
stick to
so
sports.
let's keep going with expansion and relocation. So we're on college basketball, college round ball, college hoops. 'Tis the season.
Less dunks, more layups.
Less dunks, more layups. A lot less organized. Also,
I'd like to see a college get relocated.
Again, also very much like the subject last week. A lot of guys going.
Yeah, a lot of
during
guys
the whole game
doing that the whole time.
They're very enthusiastic, but that's really annoying. The thing we were going to talk about, because colleges rarely move and rarely just sprout up with Division I level basketball programs. The NCAA tournament, a.k.a. March Madness, a.k.a. take the day off work in the middle of March for some reason, a.k.a. my 7th grade teacher had the AV department bring in a TV into his classroom and he just didn't teach that day. A.k.a. my bracket's already busted.
Who was playing?
A.k.a. I am now probably the biggest Arizona Wildcats fan that's ever been because of RJ and Channing.
Yeah.
By the way.
AKA Colgate. All right. That's a toothpaste, but also a university. So, yeah, that's coming up. A couple years ago, they added what was known as the play-in game, which is, hey, you're not good enough to be in the tournament, but what if we added a secret extra round of the tournament for your opportunity to be in the tournament?
I'm all for it.
What, you think they should blow it up and just go every team in college basketball has to fight for their life?
What are the conference tournaments for then?
Well, you get your automatic bid, but in a lot of conferences, you get a team like the University of Akron, whom you're familiar with.
I never heard of them.
They lose in the conference game, and
they win in the conference
and they don't get a shot,
and then they don't get their shot.
Yeah.
So
I feel like what if the season just caps off for everybody, and you play for your placement on the bracket all season long?
Well, it's also gonna have a big effect on that little thing called the NIT. And my NIT bracket is already busted as well. So
my CBF, or what's the other one? Those other little ones?
it's not gonna. They're not gonna make that change.
No,
it's what do they got? 64 teams in the full bracket,
plus the 4 for the play-in,
plus the 4 play-ins. That's a lot of games. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a nightmare broadcast schedule. The advertising.
Just have them be on True TV.
We'll have to start making March longer.
Do you guys remember the past few years of advertising? It's been the same ad, literally, during every single game, over and over and over and over and over. And the reason for that is because they cannot predict, they cannot guarantee impressions to ad buyers.
Because who knows who's going to play in the games?
Well, not only that, but there's so many of the games
that
your schedule, like, how do we know what demo is going to be available?
Well, you're also forgetting one factor.
3 p.m. on a Tuesday.
The factor.
I'm falling asleep.
If they could digitally take that out, I think ratings would boost.
Yeah, I'm already asleep. It was
also
like
the thing they can't guarantee is that the game won't be 42-38. Sorry, college basketball. You need a shorter shot clock. I'm just going to let that marinate. You think I'm wrong? You think you love college basketball the way it's played?
Fumble.
At Friday Fumble. At us. All right. Now to the little round ball with the red sewing on it. Baseball.
just like throwing darts at a dartboard, and that's what division you're in.
Yeah.
You don't like the way Dave describes the baseball at us.
Yeah, that's true too. Now, the rules of expanding baseball, at least recently, have been you're allowed to add teams, but only if you use super 90s colors like teal and purple in your logos.
Yep.
A.k.a. Florida Marlins, Arizona Diamondbacks, Tampa Bay Rays, Colorado Rockies. Now, baseball expanded a few years ago. They've had a few moves with, the Montreal Expos moving down to Washington, D.C., etc. But I think we should talk about the weirdest thing, and that's when Houston and Milwaukee switched into the different leagues. Now, NFL, you play in the AFC, you play at the NFC, not a big deal. Who's your playoff bracket? No. But guess what? The American League and the National League have two very different sets of rules.
Right.
One very important rule who makes a huge difference. So, yeah, maybe Milwaukee had a pretty good designated hitter. Well, guess what? You better cut that dude because you no longer have that in your league.
That contract money that he's owed now because designated hitters make a ton of money.
Right.
To swing a bat.
You better teach him to play first base, my friend.
Right. Right. You better
the designated fat guy spot on any baseball team.
Yes. Man, what you got to appreciate baseball
for being so weird and awesome.
Their 19th century outlook on organization.
Yeah.
Just nothing digitized, nothing logical.
You have to wear a belt or something? I don't understand those uniforms.
Who cares? Dress like a gentleman.
A gentleman. Yazan. I want buttons on your shirt.
dress like a gentleman.
That can't be fun to run in. That can't
participate
be
in the sporting event that is planned for the day, which is baseball.
We will wear our blouses and trousers.
And the people in the stands will have their cravats.
Yeah, and men officiating will be wearing blazers.
Blazers.
It's the best.
And the steel mesh face guards.
Well, that's so you can irrigate your mustache. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think, Yaz, if all of a sudden, like, let's say in your favorite sport, other than lacrosse, soccer, like, okay, well, now you're not allowed to have a goalie. You're now playing in a game in a stadium in a new league where you just don't have a goalie now.
I think the more appropriate metaphor would be like now you went to a 7v7.
Yeah, that's true.
Now it's a 7v7.
I know you've planned your best 11, but you don't get to use all of those guys anymore.
Right.
Now my subs are better.
Or you get 6 subs.
Right. Yeah,
or
that's
you
a good
get
one.
6 subs now.
I don't. I mean, this is getting into another topic, but I don't understand why we have a sport where there's a league, 2 leagues within a league, and they have different rules. I don't get it. I didn't answer the question though. I worked around it.
Because 19th century.
Yeah, 19th century. Yeah,
because of the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
Because of railroad expansion.
Yeah.
Because of
the printing press. The spinning jenny.
Right.
Those are
all of these things.
Well, that's if
a league of their own.
Well, noted famous author Cal Trillin has a theory about the United States, which is there's the real United States and the expansion team United States. And if your city had a baseball team before World War II, you were in the original United States. And if it's after World War II, then you're an expansion team.
I can get
so anything
that.
out in L.A. and like that's so weird for us in our generation where the L.A. Dodgers, San Diego Padres, like all those teams out there are like, yeah, they've been around forever. But they weren't.
Yeah. Well, it's always been L.A. Dodgers for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But again, I super agree with the fact that those teams should have moved because do you really need like 9 teams in New York?
Right. It's like soccer in London.
Right.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yep.
But you do need more football teams in Los Angeles.
That's true. And that's the only expansion that will be acceptable.
Right. Exactly. And soccer teams in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
that's true too. You better have that as well.
Speaking of
OMG, soccer.
It's time for soccer, everybody.
So either skip ahead, just turn it off right now.
Actually, if you're one of the Supersonics people, you probably should have hit play again by now. You've missed a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
We're talking about you now.
Welcome back, Super Sounders
fans.
Super Sounders.
Yeah, exactly. That team has a lot of fans. They lived, or the Supersonics died so that the Sounders could live. And the MLS commissioner keeps saying, we're going to expand to 20 teams. Then, like a few years later, we're going to expand to 24 teams. And now we're going to expand to 28 teams, and then we're going to stop. They're growing at a ridiculous rate.
Clip.
And they have, yeah. What?
Growing at a ridiculous clip.
Okay.
You got them sidetracked.
I know. 28 teams.
28 teams.
That's where
anyway,
you landed.
No, it's
and
2017.
Now, you used to be able, I think, Toronto FC joined the league like 10 years ago, and it was like a $10 million expansion fee, and now they got investors lining up with like having to write a $150 million check to get in the league. That's crazy.
Here,
where do you stop?
Dylan and I will tell our tale of Cleveland woe.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a team
in
here,
a year.
yeah.
That's the tale of Cleveland woe.
I skipped to the end.
Do you remember that?
2007 was the year.
Or you were not here yet.
I wasn't living here yet.
Right.
2007 was the year, and the Wolsteins had been granted an MLS franchise for Cleveland. They were due to build a stadium much like the Richfield Coliseum style in Macedonia, Ohio, Northfield, Ohio.
Boston Heights,
Ohio.
Where there's currently going to be a Bass Pro Shop and the R House headquarters.
The R House headquarters is there, and now a Costco. For a long time, shortly after. Anyway, a small tax bill was on, and like 2,500 people voted in the election that defeated that measure for a Summit County tax to not have an MLS team. I believe that franchise fee was $5 million.
$5
Crazy.
million.
The appreciation of just the franchise fee is so ridiculous that they would make so much money. But
so much money. So
and Arthur
absolutely
Blank
much
just
money.
paid like I think $100 million, like I said, for a team in Atlanta.
yeah.
And they're going to share that stadium with their Falcon neighbors there.
So for the longest time after the soccer stadium deal was defeated, we did house an important community entity, though, and that was the abandoned golf course.
Yes.
And you
with
can't...
an Arabica, a functioning Arabica at the driving range.
The last known functioning Arabica next to the abandoned golf course.
Yep.
It's a pillar of the community. You can't have a community without it.
Nope.
But, yeah, so I don't think Cleveland's going to get any sort of MLS franchise now.
It's never going to happen now.
No way, Jose. They're not even like in talks for the next round. And there's like, there's...
Drew Carey's ship has sailed.
Well, he went to Seattle.
Yeah.
He's a part owner for Seattle now.
He was part of the 2007 deal.
Yeah.
That failed.
He was going to take all of his profits from Buzzbeer and put that
funnel
all
them.
into the stadium.
Funnel them into the Boston Heights municipal coffers. And then
Tale of woe.
Our big thing here, well, Dave and my big thing, is that 2 hours to Columbus is just a titch beyond what I'm willing to do on a regular basis.
Yes.
Yaz does not agree.
Oh, I'm down there.
Because he's always in Columbus.
I am.
See, some people say Columbus till I die. I say Columbus until Cleveland gets a team.
Right.
There's not even a minor league team here.
Well, there is. It's AFC Cleveland.
Oh, they're minor. Doesn't seem like there's
boy,
the grassroots
now you're throwing
movement.
shade.
Double minor.
They
Still
are
a
fans.
minor.
They are
Still
waiting
a
for
minor.
next year fans. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I'm sorry, AFC Cleveland.
Mad at Yaz right now.
At us.
At Friday Fumble.
Friday Fumble.
AFC Cleveland, I'm talking to you. This guy's not wampusing. I'll tell you that. Anyway, so yeah, MLS and its expansion. Now, other leagues around the world, they stop at 20, and they have the promotion relegation system. That is a different topic for a different day.
Different topic, different day. I think MLS has done a great job expansion with the expansion. I thought honestly, after Orlando came on, we were going to see some trim.
How about Breck Shea getting traded, huh?
Oh,
he was
my
the face
gosh.
of Orlando.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was
Well,
a face.
Kaká.
Kaká's more of a face.
Kaká's the face.
Well,
But
I'm just
Breck
saying,
Shea-
Breck Shea's got a
the
face.
U.S.
American
national
face,
team
yes.
player. Yeah, he's
Yes.
each franchise kind of has their
And also
U.S.
his
national team
name
guy.
is Breck Shea.
Yeah,
Breck
if that's
Shea.
not the most Orlando name
Dude.
there is,
He's
He
from
would-
Texas.
his name might as well be Walt Disney World Resort.
Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'm cool with them getting up to 32 teams, like a real league.
32. Yeah. The idea, the thing that people think may happen is that once they get up there high enough is that they will like split off into two leagues or something and have like a promotion relegation between the two. No?
you'd have to get to 40 for that.
Maybe.
I'm all for it.
Or maybe join up with another lower league and do it then.
I am not all for it, guys.
That's a different
A
podcast for a different day
different-
with a
different
different
time.
set of
Next
listeners.
week on the
ostensibly.
HSB's promotion relegation.
Let's talk about the World Cup change.
The
though.
World
Yes, this is a big one.
They were at 32, and they will be at 32 for the next two World Cups. But then it's going to be 48. They voted. 32 is the magic number.
Potentially the first iteration of that 48-team tournament to be in the United
Could
States.
be in the U.S. Possibility.
I heard FIFA was mad about Trump, so they're not going to do it.
Well, there's still time to patch things over.
They're
but-
cool with slavery
Hey,
and
stick to sports.
Qatar.
Stick to sports.
Yeah.
They're cool with that.
Well, it's all about bribery.
He just hasn't bribed them yet. He will. Give him time. FIFA, don't get greedy so early.
Yeah, just
Dude's a slime ball. He's gonna bribe you. Okay, that's how it happens.
I don't
Just
think
give
he
him a
cares
little bit of
enough
time.
about it to do that. But
no, he'll love it because he could say that this is the hugest World Cup ever because there's more teams in this World Cup than any other.
He will be right.
It will be the hugest World Cup ever.
It will be the hugest World Cup. And I don't mind adding more teams, but it messes with the format. Right now, you got a perfect format.
I don't like the format
32
change.
is such a good number. You got, what?
The 3-team groups I do not like.
The more the merrier, guys.
No, only if you keep it with 4-team groups. I'm fine with making the knockout stage bigger.
I'm not sure why they don't keep the 4-team group anyway.
Because then you have an odd number of groups. Or not an odd number of groups, but a number of groups that it can't perfectly go into a knockout bracket, I think.
Give them a bye week.
Then you put some play-in games in there.
Maybe we should just go up to 64 teams, and then it'll work out again.
Well,
That's
yeah.
Or you go NCAA tournament.
Well, yeah, well, why not? I mean... Again,
throw some play-in games in there, and
again,
everybody's
it changes the scope of the tournament. You have to have it in the U.S.
Just let every country compete.
Europe, you have to spread it out over Germany, France, England. Like you have to have a lot of stadiums to do that. But I still don't see that as a problem.
The other thing is one of the biggest complaints that everybody has is that it devalues the qualifying process.
And that's a big part of it because the World Cup as we know it, that's the finals of the
World
tournament.
Cup finals. The tournament starts years.
Yeah, exactly. Literally everybody can be in the tournament.
Right.
Burkina Faso's in the tournament.
Not for very long. Hi-oh!
No.
Anybody here from Burkina Faso? Add us at Friday Fumble.
I get that. I get that argument. I also think that it's not going to devalue qualifying because qualifying is arbitrary anyway.
It's arbitrary here. It's not arbitrary in Europe.
Isn't it though?
No.
There
are good European teams all the time.
Oh yeah, there's teams that
don't make it.
Maybe better than the United States who don't make it just because.
And that's why they're expanding it.
Right.
Because
let the Europeans in.
Yeah, because
I'm totally cool with that.
There are a ton of good teams in South America, and there's a growing number of teams to represent Africa and Asia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But because those qualifying groups are so easy, you're seeing the same teams, when, as Yaz said, there are a lot of European teams that don't make it that are way better than Australia or...
Yeah, I just don't see how it would negatively impact the qualifying. Because, I mean, it's not... Okay, so yeah, there's more at stake, I guess. But what's the difference between... So in baseball, you have a very limited amount of teams going to the playoffs every year.
Very, yeah.
Extremely limited. And then in the NBA, you have half of the league goes to the playoffs. Now, if you look at the two leagues, and we have very personal experience with this, the past couple of years.
Please don't bring up the World Series. I can't.
Listen
take
to
it.
just. It's okay. Take a deep breath, and we'll get through it together. Tribe didn't make the playoffs the year prior, or they had the play-in game a couple years ago, but didn't make the playoffs. The next year, make a World Series run deep into the World Series, right? So if you start doing half of baseball gets into the playoffs, all of a sudden the Tribe is a perennial playoff team.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but...
Does that devalue the regular season at all?
Yes, I think it does.
I mean, the idea with that... So, like, the World Cup...
Because in a long regular season, unlike a qualifying tournament, in a long regular season, in the NBA, a hot team with a low seed, if they're hot at the end, can win. In a long qualifying tournament, the time span is so long that the team doesn't get hot. It is more quality-based. And how about this? Well, yes, you say what you were going to say before I bring up my next idea.
I was just going to say that right now, the last round of qualifying in our area, our region, is 6 teams, and they're saying with the new format that we would potentially have 6 berths to the World Cup. So then you got to change that whole process. What is, you can't leave it the way it is.
Oh, the Hex is terrible.
Yeah. The Hex is great.
The Hex
is
called
the Hex.
Worst. Just turn it into a group.
Change it to the
How many teams? The Oct?
How about this? How about you, because, again, we now live in an age of giant airplanes, why don't we do away with the regions? Have a draw for qualifying.
Right.
That's what the World Cup is, though, is the draw, is where, Ecuador plays Slovenia.
But that's based on a predetermined set of, the
North American computer out.
Yeah.
The AP rankings.
Let's get out the Friday Fumble vaunted computer and use the vaunted index.
And we'll just pick. We'll just pick who goes. And it'll just be a series of friendlies for 2 years.
Yeah.
Instead of qualifying matches.
Stakes, no, you need those stakes.
I know.
I say you just randomize it.
I don't even watch USMNT until
you put all of the teams in a big bingo thing, and you start making groups. You don't even try to seed it because that's too human.
You know what's brilliant is the Confederations Cup.
I love that one.
You know why? It ties in the outcome and the Gold Cup because it also ties in the outcome of other tournaments.
Yeah.
It's
like a mega tournament.
Right. And so I feel like you make every match important when you do stuff like that. I feel like if you tweaked it so that the preceding tournaments to the World Cup finals.
That's a good idea. I like that. You get a berth.
Right.
An automatic berth.
You can earn your berths through various channels.
And that makes other tournaments way more
other
important.
Games, even friendlies kind of matter because they go into the FIFA rankings, which everyone says, "Oh, what do the FIFA rankings matter?" But
what do they matter?
They use those. Well, they use those to seed teams for the World Cup, the top seed, like 8 seeded teams. So really, you have to be really good, and you have to be in the top 8. I think for that
because they don't want to create one group that's got all the best teams in it. I understand.
Absolutely.
That.
Yeah. So what if they just made 4 years into what we would view as a regular season for the World Cup? So basically, anything the national team does for 4 years goes into their qualifying for the World Cup.
I like it.
Anytime they play, no
and
more friendlies.
They don't. And
unless they just explicitly call out that this is a friendly match.
Well, the only problem with that, though, and again, we've turned this other podcast into this podcast, and I'm fine with it, is, because all those friendlies are set up just with the 2 federations getting together. So the U.S. is like, hey, Antigua and Barbuda, what are you guys doing this weekend? We beat them again, yeah!
Right.
And like Germany's like, why won't anyone play us?
Right.
But they'd say it in a German accent.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah, they're from Germany. They should have a German accent.
No, they can do that.
You should have a formalized schedule that comes out from FIFA.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like turning it into more of a season type thing too. I agree.
Yeah, 4-year season.
Guys, I've got a little warning for you. I didn't think of anything for hockey. I remember when I was younger, you had the San Jose Sharks.
Well, there's that new
They were
team,
teal.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Knights,
yeah, they're moving. Or are they new?
They're new to make the NHL, I think, an odd number of teams that I don't know. Probably 33 or something like that.
What was with the teal in the 90s? The San Jose
Mighty
Sharks,
Ducks.
the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Mighty Ducks. Yeah, all of them.
The teal 90s was just teal. Remember Taco Bell in the 90s? It was teal. You went in there, it was teal.
It was teal in there. You are correct. Lacrosse, I think the expansion system in lacrosse is, guys, please start a lacrosse team. We would really love to have more lacrosse teams. I think, Yaz, do you want to start a lacrosse team?
Yeah, I would like to start a lacrosse team, so let's do it. And now there's a Northeast Ohio lacrosse team.
In terms of hockey, now we're sitting at 31 teams.
Ugh. Thanks a lot, Vegas.
So
they're almost there.
I like how all the other ones are like, we got to fight it. We can't add too many. We can't add too many. And NHL's like, we could do one. Why don't we make it 2 to make it 32?
Since the year 2000,
we can't.
By the way.
We can't do that. We can't come up with somebody else. How many Canadian cities are there? Why don't you? Or what about Cleveland? The Monsters.
Blue Jackets.
I'm aware of that, but still, like when you're sitting at 31,
when
you're sitting at 31, you
just throw one
you
out
have
there.
a couple of compromises to throw another one in there.
I feel like the Blue Jackets were the part of the last expansion.
Yes.
Yeah, the CBJ
wave.
late 90s, I think.
2000, yep. And so, you want to foster that fan base first. And I'll tell you what, that streak that they went on over the holidays.
I'm not saying I watched the games, but I'll tell you, I checked the scores.
I did.
And that's
watch
a step
the
up.
I did watch the games, and I was in it. I've since lost the thread. They haven't done as well.
Yeah.
But
they won all of their games right in a row, and then shit, we used up all our wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I tell you what, winners make fans.
You're right. You are correct.
Winners make fans, except for the Browns in this weird Twilight Zone town.
Again, I'll start to whimper if we start talking about that. And lastly, I think there's only the couple of houses for Quidditch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, expansion would be if there were a new school of magic, and unfortunately...
But the school, they all play each other within the school, so it wouldn't have to be if there was a new house within the school?
Well, to play for the House Cup, yes, you would need to do that.
Okay.
What
if they move
there's the
Slytherin
Quidditch World
somewhere
Cup.
else?
Do you think they trash talk each other by calling each other Quidbitch?
They have to be... They have to have clubs. They have to have club teams that these professional players
Is it promotion relegation?
Pulled from.
I mean,
sure.
yeah, that's
yeah.
J.K. Rowling's frame of reference is England.
Yeah, England.
Yeah. English Premier League. But I remember reference to a club team that Ron's favorite player played for. He was on the Irish national team, but I remember he had his club... gosh, we are going to look this up.
If you know the answer, right now, add us.
Ron's favorite Quidditch team. That was
this
Google
came up.
Search prompt.
The Chudley Cannons.
The Chudley Cannons. Part of what league, I wonder?
Their colors are orange.
Cannons.
It's one color, orange, I guess.
Oh, man, I like
Founded
that
in
crest.
1753 from the British and Irish Quidditch League.
Teams of the world. Look at this lexicon that I've just found.
I found participating teams in the British and Irish League.
Oh, man, I have a complete list right here.
Oh, my God, you guys.
You have all the teams in the world? I have all the teams just in the British and Irish
This
Quidditch
says some
League.
known players. The keeper is Gordon Horton, and I want to say that that's some lazy naming on J.K. Rowling's part.
Horton?
Come on, J.K.
Yeah, no, I think
there's some good team names here.
Appleby Arrows.
Yes,
the one you're looking
the
at?
Ballycastle Bats.
Are they all alliteration?
Wait, guys, I'm sorry. Is this British and Irish or is this Akron? Because I'm seeing, it's the Ken Mayer Kestrels, not the Ken Moore Kestrels. And the Montrose Magpies
yes.
out there past the Highland Square.
Also, the
Hufflepuffs.
Portage Path Pride of Portree. Just kidding. It's just the Pride of Portree.
The Puddlemere United. Oh, these are good.
Tutchill Tornadoes. The Wigtown Wanderers.
The Chill Tornadoes?
The Foulmouth Falcons. That's my team. I'm a Foulmouth Falcon.
And the Holyhead Harpies. Holyhead? Holyhead.
Tired of hearing Harry Potter stuff? Add us at Friday Fumble. So we've covered it. We've covered relocation and expansion, guys. Question to you guys. Are you guys fans of corned beef? And are you going to be enjoying the St. Patrick's Day expanded menus of corned beef in local area restaurants?
Of course I will.
I'm going to give a plug.
Yes, maybe not.
I'm going to give a plug right now
falafel.
To the Nervous Dog. They're going to be getting in their corned beef any day now. The Boar's Head corned beef. And I'm going to need to up my water intake to compensate for all the salt that is going to be there. But I am going to eat that 3 times a week. Easy. So,
who's going to the parade? Anybody? Going once?
I will be in Cincinnati for an unrelated event. So I will not be going to the parade.
St. Patty's Day.
Ah, yes.
There was that donut holiday the other day.
I'll take you if you want, Yaz. We'll hook up. If you'd like to attend the parade, the St. Patrick's Day parade with the HSBs,
2/3 of the HSBs,
2/3 of the HSBs, or 1/3 of the HSBs.
Yeah, probably just Dylan.
At us at Friday Fumble.
I have one of those T-shirts that looks like a leprechaun.
Kiss me, I'm Irish?
No, the one that looks like a leprechaun.
You should have a shirt that says
Kiss me, you're Irish.
Yazan.
Kiss me, I'm Yazan.
Yes.
With your face?
Yes.
I've
seen a shirt with your face on it.
I've seen
all you
that
got to do is Sharpie.
Yeah.
Just a Sharpie
edition.
I
think this is going to be a beefy tee with a Sharpie.
Didn't my son request one of those shirts from you?
No, he said,
What's up?
I looked at it and he said, that's a scary face or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a crazy face.
They
said,
said, hey, Calvi,
do
you want a shirt with Uncle Yaz on it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's a crazy
You need
face.
an Etsy shop.
I do.
I'll put some orders in.
Alrighty.
If you guys want some HSB's merch, add us
at Friday
Fumble, and I'll throw it together.
Heck yeah.
I'll make it happen.
Heck yeah.
I'll go with Teespring with you guys.
I'm
willing to go Teespring. Patreon subscribers get a free HSB's t-shirt that I will have an actual professional designer design.
Ooh, buddy.
I know one of those.
Fantastic.
There you go. You guys got any other topics you want to cover? I know last time we talked Valentine's Day. We just had our Mardi Gras celebration. Did you guys see any boobs?
No boobs. No king cake either for me this year, which is surprising.
I saw a king cake at Giant Eagle the other day, a whole stack of them. The baby was on the outside. I found it pretty easily.
Yeah, that's how they do it now.
Why?
Because it's choking hazard.
Yep.
Isn't it supposed to be on the
sued.
inside?
There's been lawsuits.
My God.
I know.
See, when it was the cake of an actual king, the king would just throw it out.
Yeah, and the king would say, "What is this lawsuit that you're bringing before the court?
What is the barrister?
So
explain the meaning of this."
PC today.
I strip you of your land and titles.
If we could only just go back to the monarchy, guys. Seriously. Ugh, I'd love to be tied to my land.
Or night court.
Yeah, with Bull. And Harry Anderson.
Yeah.
All right, it must be late. We're drifting off into weird topics. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back in a couple of weeks with another exciting topic. This has been the HSBs. My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Yazan.
And thanks for listening to Waiting for Next Year.